Stand up, sir. I introduce you to Renk. He is a candidate for Clerk of Supreme Court. Please center stage, sir.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm going to take a picture of me here. I'm traveling, campaigning alone. I appreciate that, but I like to document where I've been. So, speaking of large politicians of the same era, my favorite line from William Jennings Bryan about a candidate of size was about Grover Cleveland. We all know that Grover Cleveland was quite large, and William Jennings Bryan said, "Grover Cleveland is not a Democrat, he's a stomach." It's a funny one. I've always stuck with me. I thought that was a funny one. So my name is Renk. I'm the Democratic candidate for Clerk of the Supreme Court, which is a statewide race that's been on the ballot since 1889, since statehood. But it's one that you often don't hear about. The Clerk of the Supreme Court doesn't have a vote on the land board. The Clerk of the Supreme Court does not set policy. Rather, it's an independent office that protects your right, the public's access to public information in the court system. We basically do the job of running the court system and protecting people's right to that information, and also protecting that information that should be kept private as well. We also license all of the attorneys in the state, as well as performing the functions where we handle the filings. So it's a hard one to talk about, because a lot of people go, well, you know, your eyes roll back in your head. But I want to say that this is a job where experience matters. It's an important job. I have been serving as the Deputy Clerk of the Supreme Court for 23 years and have worked in the office of the Clerk of the Supreme Court for 24 years. And I have been the deputy to Ed Smith, whose name you've seen on the ballot. He has been the Clerk of the Supreme Court and is retired after 30-some years. So good for Ed, but some people thought, well, he's only going to go out of their feet first. But he's decided to retire, and I put my hat in the ring. Now, one of the things I want to say that what's important to me is, again, that aspect of public service. When you call our office, the phone rings. Actually, it rings on my desk, and we answer it. We're the sort of small shop that provides the direct service to the people. The other thing I'd like to say is, when I saw this on the event, I was really pleased, because I'm a taxpayer in Granite County. My wife and I, about 2004, we bought a little piece of property, from Jan, who I think was the former, treasurer, and not too far from Phillipsburg, 10 miles from Phillipsburg. The first thing I did was, when we were shopping to build, and I have 5 minutes, right? That's right.
I have a big stick.
I got you. When we were shopping to build our cabin, I had my brothers come up, we built the cabin. I did all of my pricing on a materials list. I got all the materials from Margaret up in Phillipsburg, way under the price of any of the big box stores. And that was my first introduction into what a local community really does and helps. And we have been coming back and forth since 2007, when we actually built our little cabin. My Joan Becknell, who many of you know, she's my neighbor. She's the greatest neighbor. And so I have, of course, a soft spot in my heart for Granite County, and in my wallet. Like I said, I'm a taxpayer with you guys. But this is a job, just to get back to that, where, in my mind, politics should not play a large role in just doing your job. And there's nothing wrong with saying that. Just doing your job. Not taking this job so that I can turn around and run for some other office. I don't want to take this job because I got some axe to grind about a policy on the left or policy on the right. If you look at my website, and I'd be happy to tell you about it, I've got some cards I'd be happy to pass out. You'll see I've got support from both sides of the aisle. Carol Bornson, your local clerk of district court. I have worked with her for many years, and I've got support from 56 members from the steering committee, on my steering committee, from Libby all the way out to Weibo. And 7 of the former Supreme Court justices have endorsed me. So that's probably about 5 minutes.
That's plenty.
That's plenty. Okay, well, that's a pretty polite way of saying it. So, all you have to remember, if you can, Rex, I'm the only Rex on the ballot. Okay, I was just out in Glendyke where there's Rexes everywhere. There's a T-Rex with big teeth everywhere. Just remember Rex. Thank you.
Thank you, Rex.